members of the Church of Christ, with the promise of salvation, our prayer to you. Our prayer to you. For the peace always be guide. We are strong when you are on our side. Oh, Father, we pray that you allow us to stay members of the Church of Christ, with the promise of salvation, our prayer to you. Our prayer to you. For the peace always be guide. We are strong when you are on our side.
Okay, now most of us are careful not to let our temper get the better of us. But what should we do when our patience has run out and we feel that we need to let out some steam? What should we consider before we finally allow ourselves to let out that steam and get a little angry maybe? All these and more in tonight's episode, so stay with us right here on Unity Junction Radio.
Des guerres et des astres, maladies affligeant la société. Y a des enfants affamés et des parents licenciés. Certains disent qu'ils n'ont plus de temps pour Dieu qui les a créés. Oui, vivre dans ce monde est une lutte pour tous. C'est dur de respirer avec tous ces dangers nous guettant tous. Tel un nuage noir à notre porte en temps de rentrer. Mais les vrais serviteurs de Dieu seront là pour résister.
God is on our side, we're here, we can survive. Standing on this calamity, straining lives. If we're knocked down, that's not it just arrive. Prove of faith as members of the Church of Christ.
Fears risen coming, floodwaters surround. Earthquakes bringing entire cities to the ground. But we will stand till amidst the wreckage all around, holding on to the promise of the eternal crown.
Notre Père dans les cieux, c'est bientôt l'heure. Toutes les personnes de ce monde mauvais vivent maintenant dans la peur. Mais nous ne perdons pas espoir en ta promesse.
continues to rise in the rate of crime. Violence, every corner striking at any time. We try to fight our fears, the tears we keep from crying. Still it's hard to fight the pain when somebody we love is dying.
Rien n'abandonne pas la bataille. Ce monde n'est pas notre chez nous, mais on doit y rester de taille. Priez à Dieu pour de la force, stabilité, une foi ferme, un amour sincère.
On est attaqué de tous côtés mais pas écrasé. Perplexe cependant jamais désespéré. Persécuté, pas abandonné, attaqué mais pas brisé. Car Dieu sera à nos côtés. We may be hard pressed on every side but not crushed. Perplexed but not driven to despair. Persecuted but not abandoned, attacked but not destroyed. Cause our God will always be there.
Mer dans les yeux, c'est bientôt l'heure. Toutes les personnes de ce monde mauvais vivent maintenant dans la peur. Mais nous ne perdons pas, espoir en ta promesse. Nous tes enfants, ne nous inquiétons pas car nous sommes membres de l'église du Christ. Mes frères et sœurs, la fin n'est pas encore là, mais elle est toute proche dans n'abandonnons pas. Malgré les obstacles devant nous, ne faiblissons pas et allons jusqu'au bout. Dear God in heaven, the day is drawing near. All the people of this wicked earth are now living in fear. But we do not lose hope, your promise is inside. We are children, never worry because we're members of the Church of Christ.
Mula pagkabata po, kapag nabibigyan po ako ng mga promises or mga kasunduan na hindi na po talaga tinutupad, dun po talaga lumalabas ang aking galit.
Pagiging irresponsible. For example po, may pinagawa po sa amin or may pinagawa po ako sa kanila. So, I really want them to be responsible. At some point kasi may nakikita po ako na pinapabayaan po nila, hindi po nila ginagawa yung work po nila.
The number one thing that makes me angry is when someone is late and it keeps me waiting, especially po when we agreed on this specific time and then he came up late.
When someone used my personal things po without asking my permission. I used to confront or talk to him or her po by cracking jokes or saying, "Ay, ang ganda ng damit mo ah. Kaninong damit kaya yun?"
Usually po, masayahing tao ako, maingay. Kaya kapag naging silent na po ako or hindi na po ako kumikibo, ibig sabihin po, nagagalit na po ako.
Kapag galit na po ako, nasa isang sulok po ako, hindi po ako nagsasalita.
When I'm angry, I'm just being silent po. You won't hear any words from me.
Pupunta po ako sa room ko kasi ayaw ko po ng maraming tao, ayaw ko po ng maingay. Kumakanta din po ako para ma-relax po yung sarili ko.
Ayoko ding makapanakit po ng damdamin kapag sobrang nagagalit. Dinadaan ko na lang po kapag sa mga jokes.
Maalis na lang ako or nag-walk out para hindi na po lumalag yung sitwasyon.
When I'm angry po, I usually distance myself to anyone. And I also don't want to hurt anyone by saying things that I know I will not do.
Hello po mga ka-UJ! Yes, you are watching Unity Junction Radio! Hindi po ako galit, katulad po ng aming banner. Ganun ako na namumulay. Hindi po ako ganun magalit sa totoong boy. Sana lahat, rosy cheeks, wag nagagalit. Pero anyways, you are watching UJ Radio. We are live on INC TV and of course on INC Production Company's Facebook page and YouTube channel. I am Sister Bea and of course with me is Kuya Kyle.
Not with us is Brother Randall. He's up flying right now, doing his job, and we look forward to having him next Saturday. But if you saw the thumbnail for our episode today, it is about anger, and that's Bea's look on her face when she goes to the mall and she has to have her temperature checked. But I heard that Bea was a pretty good kid growing up, so there weren't too many like terrible twos kind of tantrums going on. But for all of our family and all of our friends watching us today, we got a good episode for you. And I'm not alone. Finally, someone from Pampanga North is hanging out with us today. What's up to all the peoples of Pampanga North? Specifically to locale of Clarkview, and I believe our guest will go ahead and greet her locale a little bit later.
A little bit later. But before that, Kuya, I do have a couple of greetings over here. Hello po kay Brother Chris mula po sa Tandang Sora. Sabi daw po ni Ate Chi. So hello daw po ka Chris. Hello din po kay Sister Ina mula po sa Mariveles Bataan. Happy belated birthday po sa iyo. Also to Sister Christine, happy belated birthday. And kay Brother Paolo, isa po sa ating mga regular viewers, happy birthday! Alright. Good luck sa akin. Thank you so much.
Also saying what's up to Chairi over our Facebook, our INC PC family Facebook page, to Janelle as well from Cagayan West. Chairi is coming from Caloocan North. All the way from London town, we have William Giles. Thank you, brother, for hanging us out with I believe it's evening time in the UK too, or he's just doing the math for us and it's like afternoon. But wherever you are around the world, thank you for watching on INC TV. And again, like Bea said, our Facebook and YouTube channels for INC PC. Now we'll go ahead and move on with the rest of the program. We got a sister hanging out with us for today.
Yes, ang atin po mga kasama ngayong gabi. Actually, nakita niya na po siya last season dahil nakasama na namin siya last season pero saglit lang. So we called her back. So we have with us tonight Sister Christine Era Reyes. Isa po siyang mga awit at CWS teacher mula po sa local congregation of New Era Ecclesiastical District of Pampanga North. And she is a licensed guidance counselor and psychometrician. So, let's bring in Sister Era. Hello po, good evening po.
Hello po, good evening to everyone po. Maraming salamat po for once again having me here in UJ Radio. But before anything else, I just want to correct, baka magtampo lang po yung lokal ko ngayon. I am already here in lokal ng Lemery, distrito ng Batangas. Opo. So, from north to south na po ako. Ayan po.
A little sad.
Yes po. Pero ano lang naman po kasi, this year lang din po ako nag-transfer. So anyway, I would like to thank you so much po once again for having me here.
All right, from north to south, thank you for joining us here and wherever everyone else is watching. I want to ask Sister Era, how is your mood today? Did you get angry at all today?
Today?
Be honest.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's
How
talk
about you,
about
Kuya
that.
Kyle?
I'm always angry. No, I'm kidding. No, okay, so Sister Era, if we could just define one very important term for tonight, and that's anger. How could we define anger?
Anger is usual, normal, and one of the 6 basic emotions of an individual. So usually po kasi we had this negative connotation to anger. When we say angry or anger, people tend to see it on a negative way. But to be honest, and for the appreciation of everyone, anger is something that you should not be have a negative impression about because it's usual, it's common, and it's actually a basic emotion of an individual.
I like how you point that out, that it's normal, because one of our next questions would be, because they always say, oh, don't worry, oh, don't be mad, but it's actually okay to be angry.
Konti, minsan, oo.
Yeah.
Pero kasi po, di ba, katulad nga dun sa fast cuts po kanina natin, sa mga in-interview po natin mga kapatid, tinanong po dun, di ba, paano ini-express. So, normal po ba yung mga sinabi po nila? Yun po ba yung mga common expressions po ng pagiging galit or angry po, Sister Era?
Yes, totoo, Sister Bea. Actually, nakikinig ako kanina. And then, those are the different, actually now discuss na nila yung mga different approaches natin or expression when we are angry. So, there are 2 basic things po that we need to understand about expressing our anger. There is an outward and inward. When we're talking about outward, ito po siguro yung mas na-observe natin because outward, so meaning observable behavior natin siya. Ito yung aggression and also assertiveness. Pag sinabi nating aggression, siguro alam na natin ito, mga road rage, yung mga people tend to behave in a manner wherein medyo may involvement na nagtatapon ng mga gamit, sumisigaw, so yung mga ganon, no? That's aggression. Well, to be honest, that is not the correct or healthiest way to release your anger. But on the other hand, meron tayong tinatawag na outward pa rin po na expression ng anger, which is assertive or assertion. Ito naman is yung healthiest way to express the anger. Why is it called the healthiest way? It's because this is the moment where you come to clarify what is happening. When we say assertive kasi, di ba, you're there to clarify things out. You have the control on your emotion. Why am I angry, or why am I behaving this way? And at the same time, you're clarifying it to the person or to the situation that triggers your emotion. So that's a good way actually.
Okay.
At the same time, isa naman may binanggit akong inward. The inward
Yes.
expression naman, ito yung mga tinatawag nating suppression or hindi natin na-express yung pagiging angry natin. So people tend to divert it inward. Pag sinabi nating inward, we tend to have it express sa sarili natin. We hold it out. Sometimes we tend to stop thinking about it, and sometimes naman we tend to harm ourselves on the other hand naman if hindi natin pag ina-express natin siya on the inward process.
Yung tipong parang iisipin ko na lang siya nang iisipin.
Yes.
Mga ganun. Pero
That's how Bea really gets angry too, right?
I know. Nakapikit po ako
inward-
ganun.
I'm an
Inward,
inward
kuya.
type of kind of angry person. Very rarely will I express it outwardly, I guess. And since Sister Era mentioned that it's normal and that there's a healthy way of expressing our anger, it would then be safe to say that it's not necessarily bad to feel angry, because sometimes there's that connotation that anger is a bad emotion.
Yes, actually we cannot really stop ourselves from feeling this kind of emotion, which is angry nga. Kasi nga, usual natin siyang nararamdaman. There are lots of issues around the environment that can cause us this kind of emotion. And this is something na hindi natin dapat iniiwasan. But instead, we should learn how to manage it instead.
Okay. Okay, wait lang kasi nababasa ko dito sa ating comment sections. Kaya mga kapatid, sa mga viewers po natin, pwede nyo i-comment pa paano kayo nag-express ng anger at anong ginagawa nyo para sa tingin yung tamang paraan ng pag-express. Mamaya, malay nyo mabasa natin yan at baka tama yung mga sagot natin, di ba? But anyways po, kasi, di ba kasi meron tayong tinatawag na anger management, di ba po? But then, kasi hindi naman lahat kailangan kasi galit ka, anger management na kagad, o kaya dahil magagalitin o mainitin ang ulo mo, anger management agad sagot. Pero, when should we seek help, that kind of help po, Sister Era, bilang kayo po ay you know about this po, kailan po dapat humingi ng advice or tulong po na yun na pala yun? Kailangan pala natin magpatulong na sobra na pala yung pagiging magagalitin ko.
Yes, so when it comes to managing our anger issues, when do you think that you need counseling already? So counseling will take place. To be honest, there's a thin line between the normal or usual expression of anger towards the, let's say, unusual expression or
Sobra.
unhealthy na yung expression of anger. So remember this thing po, if there will already, kung meron na po tayong dysfunction or discomfort na nararamdaman when it comes to our anger or when it comes in feeling this kind of emotion, pag sinabi nating discomfort, ikaw mismo, you're not feeling okay about it. Parang there are a lot of frustrations or there are a lot of other problems na nakikreate because you think that you're out of control in this, controlling this kind of emotion. That is already one red flag. Second is I mentioned dysfunction. So pag sinabi kong dysfunction, yung usual mo na nagagawa, like for example, yung mga routines mo and in everyday life, for working, talking to people around you, building relationships with your environment or the people that surrounds you, hindi na nagiging healthy or parang lagi ka na lang nag-end up into a parang chaotic or sabihin nating medyo hindi na nga toxic kind of relationship na because of your anger issues, then maybe that's the best time to seek some help regarding this management of your emotion.
Okay. So yun pala ha. Pero hanggat maaari, well, katulad nga po ng 'di ba naging leksyon natin to last week, may paraan para makontrol natin syempre ang galit tsaka init ng ulo. Mamaya, malay niyo ma-discuss pa natin yan later on. But Kuya Kyle, do you have any more questions regarding anger?
Well, no, because I'm thinking about myself and like, again, like I said,
You're
I'm an inward type. Yeah, I'm reflecting. Every episode should be reflective, right?
Exactly.
While we have Sister Era here, I'm gonna take advantage of it. And hopefully, some of our audience members feel like they're on the same page as me because, look, you say if you keep sweeping it under the rug, at one point or another, you're just gonna like burst. And I've personally had that problem where I would be quiet. I tend to like want to be too empathetic, or I take into consideration the other person's emotions first ahead of my own. So I will just be quiet, but inside my brain and my heart, it's like, But at one point or another, it's like you can't take it anymore, and you turn into like the Incredible Hulk, and you just want to smash stuff. So which makes me want to, and like. I guess maybe it's because I didn't know how to handle it as well when I was growing up as a kid. So in Sister Era's opinion, I'm wondering like, how do we handle children? Because of course, especially if they've been inside the house for the past year and a half, what are the best ways to, when they're throwing tantrums, those terrible 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s and teenage years when you're just angry all the time?
Okay, actually, Brother Kyle, that question is really important, no? Especially in this situation of pandemic, we are like what you mentioned, we are just locked into our house for a very long time already. But ngayon medyo lighter na yung mga restrictions, so maybe nakakalabas na rin yung mga bata. But anyway, so when there is already a tantrums, no, or tinatawag nating that the children is throwing anger na to his or her parents, or maybe dun sa mga tao sa paligid niya, what is the best way to handle it? First is do not invalidate the emotion of the child, especially when the child is feeling angry. There is a specific reason bakit. So maganda na, or the best way is for the parents to actually identify bakit nagkaroon ng ganitong emotion. The triggers, the stimulus that triggers that certain emotion to the child, dapat ma-identify natin. And from there, do not invalidate. Pag sinabi natin do not invalidate, acknowledge that it is possible na usually po kasi we have this idea na bakit ka nagagalit? We tend to question the individual kung bakit siya nagagalit. Parang bakit mali bang maramdaman kong magalit?
And it's not an honest question too, right? It's not like, why are you mad? It's like, why are you mad? No?
Yes. At totoo yan, yung nagtatanong mismo yung medyo galit na rin. Bakit ka ba galit, diba? So, but anyway, so first is, you should not question the person based on her or his emotion, but instead question kung what made him or her feel that way. So, ano ba yung mga nangyayari? Bakit, again, that stimulus, the triggering factors, kung bakit siya nakaramdam ng ganung certain emotion is very important to identify and to not invalidate the emotion. So, dun sa mga children or sa mga bata na nagtatantrums, one best way is to let it go. So, let the child just throw his or her tantrums. Kasi to be honest, mapapagod lang din talaga siya. Or
true.
to be honest, mauubos din yung lakas niya, and at the same time, siya na mismo yung makaka-realize na, oops, hindi pala to yung effective way. Or kahit ganito yung ginawa ko, ma-realize na hindi niya nakuha kung ano man yung gusto niyang kunin out of that kind
Being
of behavior.
angry.
Yes.
Natatawa ako kasi, sige, may kukwento lang po ako konti. Although, nakwento ko na to earlier, pero ngayon po yung na-explain yan. Noon po kasi, nung bata ko, ganyan sila. Ganyan po yung parents ko. Opo, sa mga nakakilala sa mami ko, actually tama yung ginawa ng parents ko. Kasi po noon, iyakin talaga ako. Kaya po ngayon, singer na ako. Kasi po noon, iyakin talaga po ako. As in, ganun ako noon. May one time na, opo, di ba, na-train, nakapag-vocalize. But anyway, so nung bata po ako, I don't know kung ano po yun. Kasi po siguro hindi ako talaga mahilig umubos ng pagkain nung maliit po ako dahil ang bagal ko kumain. Napagalitan po ako, tapos basta para pinupunta ako sa room. Tapos sabi, diyan ka lang, sabi ni mama, Mama, tapos hinahabol ko siya, ganyan. Eh, yung mama ko lumabas, tapos po doon sa bintana, may mga bintana yung room, hinahabol ko siya doon sa bintana. Sabi niya, bawal daw ako lumabas. Nilock niya yung kwarto. Pero yung lock po ng kwarto, nandun sa loob na sa akin. Hindi ko naman binubuksan yung pinto, umiiyak lang ako. Siguro po after mga 30-45 minutes ng kakaiyak, nakatulog po ako. Paggising ko, andun na si mama, tapos kinausap niya ako, kaya niya ginawa yun, ganito, ganyan, kasi nga hindi makakabuti sa'yo or hindi tama yung ginagawa mo. So parang, even ngayon po, when I feel angry or nasistress po ako, I would talk to my mom and my dad. They would let me vent out yung pong galit or kinakainis ko. Tapos after nun, tsaka po nila ako papayun. Sabi, okay ka na. Okay na ako. O, di ba? Ganun na po siya. Ganun na po yung ginawa nila. So, I think naging okay naman. And even now, may nagsabi dito po kanina, sabi ni Romy, for me, I use both inward and outward depending on the situation. Tama po yun kasi hindi nga naman po pwedeng sa lahat ng pagkakataon galit ka na lang, aawain mo na lang sila. Sometimes you have to suppress, just like what Kuya Kyle does when he's angry. But then afterwards, baka nga kailangan may paraan para ma-let out mo yung negative emotion yun kasi otherwise, ikaw yung masasaktan.
Yes,
Masakit.
I know. You don't want to turn in. Bruce Banner does not want to turn into Incredible Hulk most of the time. Only when he really needs it, right? But he does not want to be Incredible Hulk because he can't control himself anymore. So I know where that's coming from. But we've been talking a lot about kids, but Bea and I are no longer children, and I imagine a lot of our viewers aren't as well. So we'll go ahead and move on to adults a little bit later on the show, but I feel like we should play a game of Soundcheck, and Sister Era, please join us and help us keep our winning streak going. We were right last week, and hopefully we can keep it 2 for 2 this week.
At dahil dyan, Kuya Kevin, let us cue our mystery sound for tonight.
The question is, what kind of keyboard is it?
Ang galing mo, Kuya Kyle!
Yun ang tanong. It's not keyboard. Anong klaseng keyboard? Mechanical keyboard. Anong klaseng switches ng mechanical keyboard?
Kasi ganun kami dito sa UJ. Pag nag-gets na namin, let's go more specific. Ganun, so Kuya Kyle. Mechanical keyboard. Kayo
So
ba?
do we have
Ano po
consensus?
yun?
It's a keyboard, right? I say it's a keyboard.
Sister Era, keyboard?
Yes, that's a keyboard.
I have a question for Sister Era. Is it angry typing or not angry typing?
I guess it's not.
Yeah, it sounds normal naman, no? It's normal naman.
Mechanical keyboard. Kasi kuya, feeling ko pag galit na, yung binabalabag na yung keyboard, yun yung galit.
Yeah, right?
Hopefully,
So,
wala pong gumagawa nun.
everyone watching on INC TV and our Facebook and YouTube channels also will say keyboard, because if it's something else, I'm gonna like, huh? No, it can't be. I'm gonna give us early congratulations. Thank you very much.
Kasi naman po yung nagagawa ng aming mystery sound, salamat sa paglalakas ng iyong
2 for 2.
pagtatype. Thank you so much. At dahil dyan, let's go on with another game. Siyempre, maiba na naman tayo. Tonight, we will be playing Name That Emoticon. Diba? Para kahilaran ng ating topic for tonight. So, siyempre, meron na namang pinrepare ang ating UJ team na mga slides containing po ng emoticons or emojis. Okay? Ayan. So, huhulaan po namin yan. Siyempre, dahil wala muna si Kuya Randall, kasama siyempre namin si Sister Era at kasama ko si Kuya Kyle, and we will try to guess kung ano po yung mga emotions sa'yo. Siyempre, kayo din. Team Facebook, Team YouTube, at Team Bahay, alam nyo na. Isugot nyo na yung mga emotions na yan, emoticons na yan, and let's get on with it. Kuya Kevin, first slide, please. Oh,
Like the exact name of the emoji?
Di naman siguro.
Kilig
Can I say
o blush?
super happy?
Ah,
Shy? Yeah, blush or shy?
Parang bashful.
I agree with Sister Era.
Wala akong makeup para gawin ko sana yan dito.
I want to say blush or shy.
Sige,
Blush is,
parang shy. Sige, next slide. Ano po? Tama ba? Is it?
Do we get the answers na?
Happy face,
Happy
smiley face.
smiley face, smiling face with smiling
Smiling
eyes.
eyes.
And blushing cheeks. Ba't hindi
May
nakalagay yan dyan?
Uh-uh.
But anyways, okay,
Next
tama
one,
pa din
please.
naman. Yung, mali ako, sorry.
Embarrassed?
Yan ang tawag sa ganun. Oh, embarrassed. Thank you po Hanggang doon lang ako sa explanation Sister Era.
Hindi ba pawis yun?
Embarrassed.
It's not pawis.
Ba't Isang
Diba?
isa lang.
But we like say you're nervous about something or you have to do some public speaking event. May magpapawis ka. That's what that's.
So nervous. So
Yeah,
nervous?
Yes, yes.
Sige.
Let's see.
Ano sagot, kuya? Exercise. Ha?
Sweat.
Oh yeah.
Happy sweat.
See?
Grinning face
Grinning
with
face
sweat.
with sweat.
I-describe ko na lang kung ano yan. May nagsabi dito kinikilig daw, kaya ako mamaya yung mga sagot niya. Next. Gulit. Galit yan. Hindi.
Disgust.
Yeah, disgust is a good
Pwede.
word.
Sige nga, ano sagot, Kuya Kevin?
Yuck.
Next slide. Yeah. Confounded face.
Confounded.
Ang hirap naman.
Hirap naman ng
Quivering,
mga
no?
I
Confound. Wala
know.
po bang
I think
Tagalog?
disgust is good.
Disgust. So, sarili na lang yung sagot
Quivering
namin dito.
mouse.
Disgust
Mm-mm.
din. Sige, next. Thinking face. Curious. Not
Curious.
sure.
For me, it looks doubtful. Like when someone is telling you an obvious lie, and you're like, "Really?"
Thinking of you daw.
If thinking of you, you should be smiling, diba?
Yes.
Oo nga, no? Sige, ano ang sagot? Dami naman nating sagot po, Kuya Kyle. Thinker.
Ah.
Thinking face.
That's nice.
Chinta.
Thinking
Kuya
face.
Kyle's usually like that. During live, nakaganyan siya. Oh, that's you, Kuya Kyle.
This is when you know I'm really paying attention.
That's good. Next one.
What's
Do we
our
have
next
another one? Of course.
Sick.
Let's see.
Yeah, sick,
Yes.
temperature, fever.
Ganyan ginagawa sa atin ngayon po pag pupunta sa mall. Kailangan naka-face mask at chinecheck ang ating temperature. Ano ang
Yes.
sagot?
Temper and temperature.
Face with thermometer.
Thermometer,
Face with
face with
mask.
mask.
Sick.
All right.
Meron pa? Yan yung
Yan
ngayon.
na yun. Yes. Angry.
Inis.
When you're angry, do you have
Irritated.
air coming out of your nose, though?
I hope it was that visual, like cartoons, kuya. But you would look funny if there were puffs of smoke coming out of your nose like
It's
that.
not good
So,
then if you're angry and you have sipon, no?
Hindi yan yung lalabas.
Not a good thing.
Okay, ano sagot? Sa answer, kuya. Face with steam from nose, frustrated.
Yeah, mad
Yes.
face.
Frustrated. Meron pa? Meron pa? Hug!
Yes, that's
Na!
It's
Although,
hug.
hug po yan, di ba? Pero pwede rin naman natin gawin. Ganyan
Double
lang.
high five.
Pwede. On the sides. What's the answer, kuya?
What's the answer?
Hugging face.
Hugging.
Smiling face
Yeah,
with
it's a
open
hugging
hands.
face.
And open arms.
That's what we do after we've gone through our angry episode and we're like, hey, you know what, Bea, I'm sorry. Let's just hug it out. Be friends again.
We okay.
Yeah, we okay. We good. We good. But hey, before that, yeah, just checking out some of the responses from Team Baha'i, Team Facebook, and Team YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Last week we did, what did we do? Like acronyms. So this week was
Yeah. Emoticons.
emojis and stuff. So hopefully a lot of us don't use the angry face emoji. You know how our keyboards on our phones keep a history of
Yeah.
like our most used emojis.
Yes.
Mine are usually like kissy or happy face, not the angry.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes
But
the,
when we
the one
are
with the sweat.
angry though, like how do we manage our anger? I'm older, so I can't physically lash out anymore like a little 2-year-old or a 7-year-old or even a teenager. So I want to ask Sister Era, maybe like, what are some tips for you? Maybe personally first, how do you manage your anger? And then what are other ways we can manage our anger as well?
one thing that I made sure that I always make sure rather if I am feeling this kind of emotion or feeling angry is to express it. Why? Because unexpressed anger can be can create other problems wherein sometimes kasi na we might not notice it pero kunwari na suppressed yung anger natin or yung emotion na yun, we tend to recreate another problem. How? Minsan since unexpressed yung feeling na yun, indirectly we tend to get back to the person that caused us that kind of emotions. For example, baka di ba, sometimes we tend to say criticism to them that is not already in line with the issue, or sometimes naman we tend to be very hostile on them. So yun, so I always make sure that I express my anger or my emotion, because that will actually help me to recognize it. So that is the first step. You have to recognize that it is your current emotion, that you are feeling that way, and from there you have to assess. Actually, tama din si Kuya Kyle kanina. You mentioned that you tend to assess things, no? So assess and evaluate what causes that emotion. So what are the triggers na banggit ko po kanina? What is the scenario, or what are the things that happen that cause you that kind of emotion? Then from there, siguro if you were able to assess already, ito yung reason kung bakit nakakaramdam ako nito ngayon. So you have to plan it out. How do you manage it? Can you do something about it? For example, can you solve the problem, or can you talk to the person na nag-trigger nun, so that in that way, your emotion from there can already make amendments to the person, so hindi na siya hahaba pa. Because to be honest, emotions itself doesn't last long. So siguro mga minutes lang yan, that's really the pinakamatagal na. What really feeds the emotion kung bakit tumatagal yun or pakiramdam natin hindi tayo makaget over, it's the thoughts na hindi mawala sa isip natin. Our thoughts greatly affects our emotion, and it also influences our behavior. That is why it's very important, whatever triggers it, whatever situation or person na nag-cause ng emotion na yun, you have to deal with it directly so that you can manage the emotion na meron ka.
I'm curious. I'm a little curious though, because we've mostly been stuck in our homes, in our four walls. Sometimes our whole households, lola, auntie, and a lot of us has been like, especially when it comes to the workplace, I guess. It's difficult to do that, because especially when you're texting someone, text is difficult to translate when you're not talking to the person. So one of my ways is, especially if I'm working, and I live alone, so it's a little bit different for me, because I have no one to express it to. And if I have to express it to someone, it most likely has to be through text. And I'm not the best person at doing that, so it might make matters worse. So what I personally do is I write in a journal every day. And to what Sister Era says, yes, I write my emotions, and I'm like, I'm feeling angry today because Brother Randall wasn't with us and it was not fair, something like that. But writing it in a journal is my way of expressing my issues or my anger, and then coming back to it like maybe later in the day, because I write in the morning and then I look it over again in the evening, so it helps me kind of like recompose my emotions during the day, and that's certainly help, along with meditation. How about you, Bea? How do you manage your anger when you're at home
When I'm at home,
or anywhere else?
Di ba,
Mama.
when I'm Mama! Hindi, joke lang. But yes, same po. Kasi po, so I go outside na to work. And of course, kapag po sa trabaho, kasi yung work namin very fast-paced. So, wala kang time para magalit or makipag-usap actually to, kahit na parang, okay na ako, makikipag-usap na ako kasi gusto ko ma-address na to. Katulad po nung sinabi ni Sister Era. But then, you don't really have the time right now or today to do that. So, sometimes, I would kakausapin ko si Mommy.
Oh, that's
I-vent
good.
out ko talaga po sa kanya.
Yeah.
Sabi, my mom, my dad would say na kaya kami nandito. Even my special person, my boyfriend, ganun din. Talagang, I'm very blessed to have a solid support system kasi those people know na talaga pong ako, I have to let my anger or frustrations out. Kasi po pag hindi, talagang nagiging lutang ako. So, they let me. They gave me the chance to talk it out, and then they would explain to me, ano ba nangyari? Kasi ganito, ganyan. And then afterwards, they would tell me either if I'm wrong or I'm correct. Or they would sometimes give their insight or advice, anong po pwede kong gawin so that I could handle what itong trigger na to can do to me. Kasi pag halimbawa, kung everyday ginaganyan ka, hindi okay sa'yo, toxic, baka toxic, o sige, then you remove yourself from that situation. Or minsan sasabihin nila sa akin, baka ikaw lang naman yung maarte. Baka ikaw lang yung kung ano-anong nirereklamo. Usually ganyan. O ikaw ang mag-adjust. So they would tell me, and I would value naman kasi yung sasabihin po nila sa akin. So for me, it helps to let that out. So usually I would wait for the time for me to go home, hanggang doon titiisin ko muna yung inis ko. Dito muna siya sa likod ng aking isip at pagka munang magulo dyan, magtatrabaho muna. Pag uwi, doon na lang. But then, for those very extreme emotions na hindi ko ma-express, usually, and I'm not kidding, I would pray talaga. Kasi pwede ko alam gagawin ko eh. So, talaga mananalangin ako na pwede po bang mamaya ko na lang po ito maramdaman. Or baka po pwedeng makalimutan ko na lang to at huwag ko na pong masyadong dibdibin kasi baka ako lang naman po yung may problema. So yeah, that's what I would do. But then, I do have a question po, Sister Era. Kasi po, syempre sa ating mga viewers, marami po sa inyo yung mga kadiwat binhiden. Bukod dun sa mga parents, but well, this is for everybody, for all of us. What should parents do kapag po nagigalit sila dun sa anak nila? I mean, how should they handle that po?
Actually nga, alam nyo, to be honest, that time or that instance na ikaw ay may ganyang emotion towards your children, that's the best time for you to help to teach your children how to manage your emotion. So that is the best time na siguro if you're already being emotional, so much emotional towards your children, you always remember that, okay, alam ng anak ko or alam ng anak ko na galit ako ngayon, na nakakaramdam ako ng that kind of emotion. In that way, kasi ramdam naman po ng tao yun eh, even the children ramdam naman po nila yun. So, in that way, that's the best time to teach them, kapag galit ako, hindi dapat nila akong makita na nagtatapon ng mga gamit or yung mga hindi tama or hindi magandang pamamaraan that to express the emotion. Mm-hmm. I believe that's the best way to do when you are a parent and being angry towards your child. Another way is you might want to have some distance po muna. Avoid muna natin yung nagtitrigger sa atin. If the trigger is their children for that moment, then wag muna nating pagkaroon muna tayo ng isolation just to calm ourselves down and be more rational in approaching the situation. Because remember, if you solve the problem based on your emotion, then your solution will be temporary because the satisfaction na gusto mo munang makuha is to satisfy the feeling na meron ka ngayon. Kaya you should never create moves. Kaya ang sinasabi nila, di ba, if you galit ka, wag ka muna magdidesisyon, wag ka muna magsasalita. Because most probably, yung mga solution na may isip mo is just to satisfy or to pacify yung current emotion na meron ka. Mm-hmm. So yun, that's very important. And to the parents, I hope you got the point po na always remember, okay, this is the best time to teach my children how to handle emotion, especially being angry with other people. In that way, you already be more rational in handling your emotion, but at the same time, you become a role model to your child how to handle.
Oo nga, no? Gawin mo siyang gawin mong lesson, no, Kuya? Kuya Kyle, yes.
No, in our pre-interview a couple of days ago, me and Sister Era were talking about, well, the question that led to it was, is it bad to be angry? And then that led to the question, is it bad to be super duper happy? Right? Or super duper sad? And then that's when we got into the conversation about mania and dysfunction. Could we go back to that a little bit, Sister Era?
Yes.
Can I be too happy and it's like a problem for me if I'm too happy?
I actually, being happy or extreme happiness, no, everything that is too much is not okay naman, just like being angry. So we have this case, no, that we call mania or being manic, the opposite of depression naman, or being very extreme sadness. So when you're very happy or you're very sabi natin manic, so you have this tendency to be very energetic, very enthusiastic in everything that you do. Is it bad? Again, everything that is too much is bad. Why? Because there's a tendency for you to be to do things or to behave in a manner that might not be beneficial to you and to the people that surrounds you. Not beneficial to you, for example, since you're very energetic, there is a mania that is happening on your head already. Hindi ka na makatulog, and dahil hindi ka makatulog, you might resort in doing things that, for example, manggugulo ka na rin ng ibang tao sa paligid mo kasi hindi ka makatulog. So, ikaw mismo,
That's true.
ano ka sa mga, yes. And that's, hindi na rin siya nagiging beneficial to other people. But at the same time, no, yung binabanggit ko pong manic, it is a disorder already. Kaya, again, there's a thin line between the usual and unusual behavior. What is that thin line when there is already harm that causing that cause that behavior? For example, it harms you and it also harms other people already. Dysfunction, discomfort. So yun, be careful na lang po dun sa mga ganung bagay. If it already harms other people or yourself, that's already a red flag. Kaya everything that is too much, it's not good talaga.
Oh, yun na. Katulad na sabi ni Connie, nag-agree siya. May checkmark pa. Everything that is too much is not good. Salamat po sa ating mga viewers na nagpa-participate po sa ating discussion. I hope that we could read all of your responses. I'm sure on Facebook as well. Ang gaganda po na mga sagot po ninyo. Thank you so much. But, well, I do have a question po, Sister Era. Kasi po may ibang mga tao ko kakilala na kapag galit sila, so syempre tahimik lang sila. Pero kapag galit sila, dun sila nagiging productive, and then yung parang nililipat niya yung negative emotion niya to that. Okay lang po ba yun na parang you use that to do something?
It works for me at the gym.
To be honest,
Diba?
that is what we call another defense mechanism na sublimation. Sublimation is recreating the energy and divert it into something productive. So, being creative.
Exercise.
Yes, exercising, cleaning the house. Kung napansin nyo, yung may mga
Oh, yeah.
biglang naglilinis ng buong bahay. So, yes.
Hala, nakakatawa naman po yung pag ganun. Teka lang, naimainit ang ulo ko. Magwawalis ako. Huwag ka magulo. Magwawalis ako.
So the
Pupulis akong
key
gamit.
is to Bea's mom, always make Bea angry so she cleans the house.
Oh.
No.
No?
Hindi daw umiiling si mama sa ano. Hindi po ako kumikibo pag galit ako, ganyan lang ako. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, so okay lang po yan, Sister Era, na kumbaga you channel it towards doing something good. No, okay
Yes,
lang po siya.
Definitely, that's very okay. And actually, that's the ideal way also in expressing your emotion or your anger. Divert that emotion or that energy to something else that is more beneficial. To be honest, siguro I'll point it out also that remember that emotion doesn't control you. You control your emotion.
Oh,
Remember that.
nice. Ayun. Magbabasa lang ako ganda na sagot po nila. Sabi din ni Sister Coney, it's okay to be angry. It's part of our emotions po. Sa akin po, nahahandle ko siya by controlling my feelings or emotions. Katulad po na sinabi ni Sister Era just now. As much as possible, I compose myself and relax. And praying is very helpful din po. Sagot nila, always pray because it's very helpful para makapanatili po yung good relationship towards other people. Sumagot yung aking Lala, si Lala Francis Reyes po, nice topic. Co-faculty ko si Sister Era sa NEU Pampanga. Hello daw
Hello
po.
po.
Sabi po ni Lala Francis, watching all the way from Bulacan. Sabi ni Karomi kanina earlier to, mas maganda pa lang I express anger after recognizing it. Sabi niya rin, siya daw, good tip po, writing it down. So thank you Kuya Kyle for that daw. Sabi ni Karomi din kanina na umaalis daw muna siya kapag daw nagagalit siya sa mga anak niya. So, tama pala yung mga ginagawa po natin. How about you there, Kuya Kyle? Meron ka mga magagandang comments or
No,
answers?
I can't see them. So to everyone on Facebook and YouTube,
Good job.
I'm sorry.
Good job.
I don't want to get angry at my internet. I'm trying to keep my cool. Speaking of being angry at the internet, though, Sister Era, I mean, we've all been home, stuck in our houses for the past 19 months. And I know you're probably a lot more busy now than you were in 2018, 2019,
Yeah, that's very
no?
true.
Right?
Very true.
And I wonder, like, how much, I don't want to say necessarily how much of that, but would you agree if I said that a lot of the cases, if I can use the word cases that you're dealing with right now, a lot of them also have to do with just social media in general, and a lot of it, as toxic was a word Bea said, and it reminded me of social media.
Yes, actually, it's evident na that social media promote negative emotions somehow, or being exposed. Too much exposure to social media promote or can also contribute to negative emotions na meron tayo. And in our case, or in our discussion, that is anger. So in here, we have to be very mindful on the things that we do internet or online. We have to choose what to follow and who to follow. Especially, it influences us very much. For example lang, di ba, if it's true kasi that emotions are contagious. For example, you have watched a movie na drama. Di ba, after the movie, you have that kind of feeling kung ano yung ipinoproject ng movie, na-influensyahan ka talaga. But at the same time, if you're watching a movie that is funny, no, or comedy, it also lightens up your mood or talagang na-influence ka rin. And from there, it's already obvious that whatever we whatever we read, whatever we see on the social media, it can really affect or influence us. So be mindful on who and what to follow, the content no na pinapanood natin or binabasa natin. That's why we're very lucky as Iglesia ni Cristo. We have lots of social media platforms that help us to have a positivity, promotes true Christian values and good behavior, especially during this pandemic.
Yan. So, ayan na, narinig nyo, sabi nga ni Sister Era, mas mabuti pa kasi, ang tinitignan natin, syempre, yung mga laman ng ating mga social media platforms. Mamili kayo, sobrang dami niyan, kahit buksan nyo po lahat, yung tab nyo, puro yan ang laman. Para naman, good mood tayo lagi, di ba? Makinig kayo ng INC Original Music. O, manood kayo ng mga shows natin dito sa INCPC at sa INCTV. O, mas masaya, di ba?
There's so many channels, INCPC, INC News and Media, INC Media, with a lot of quotations and Bible verses, and in a sea of toxicity on our scrolls, there's those, personally for me, those have always been very refreshing, especially because, well, I don't know, if you're on Instagram, like a lot of it is depressing because you tend to think everyone is like happy all the time, and in real life that's so not true. It's like what 30 seconds of that person's when that shot was taken, but then we have so many friends, it feels like, man, these people are having such great times, and I'm just here scrolling on my phone in the bathroom. You know, it's like, yeah. But yeah, like with anger or anything else, I think it's important to just kind of step away from it, meditate, pray, write in your journal, go for an exercise, talk to your mom or your dad or your lola, lolo. Or and seek out professional help with Sister Era.
Exactly. And of course, also kasi po, my parents would say this, what you can't control, huwag mong pilitin. Di mo kaya control yung iniisip ng tao, reaction nila sa'yo. What you can't control is yourself. So try to control what you feel, what you think, and how you react to things. Yung mga stimulus na yan, yung mga triggers na yan, baka po pwede namang hindi na maging trigger. Kasi nasa kung paano po natin in-compose yung ating mga iniisip. Katulad po ng mga sinasabi nyo sa ating comment sections. Tama kayo that. And of course, the best thing to do when you don't know what to do, of course, is to pray. Pag talagang sobrang galit na talaga ako, upo ka muna sa isang tabi kung saan ka pwedeng hindi guguluhin, mag-pray ka para maya-maya okay ka na. For sure. Panigurado yan. But anyways, Kuya Kyle. Wait. Sister Era, thank you po ng sobrang dami. It has been a very, very nice conversation, a very informative conversation. Even our viewers are saying thank you for giving us the tips. Even to Kuya Kyle and to me. Salamat po, nakarelate to sila. So, thank you, Sister Era, for giving us your time tonight. And with that, Kuya Kyle, I think the floor is yours now.
Yeah, so again, thank you as well, Sister Era. And as we've all discussed and learned today, anger is normal. It's an emotion, and as such, it's okay for it to be expressed. It's just as we've learned tonight, there's a very healthy way to express it, whether it's with talking to our parents or our family members, or writing in a journal, or working out, and of course, as Christians, going to church and just having our one-on-one time with our Almighty God and praying. And with that, let's see first what the Bible says.
When you are angry, don't let that anger make you sin. And don't stay angry all day. Don't give the devil away to defeat you.
And with the help of Sister Era, we were able to realize it was not angry typing on a keyboard. But was it really a keyboard? Let's find out. Brother Kevin, could you please reveal our sound check for this week? Okay, what kind of keyboard is that? It looks like a
Ganda
mechanical
ng
keyboard.
keyboard niya!
Hi, I'm Sister Chanel Maurice Estorero from the local congregation of Bagobantay District of Central. Shout out to all Sarmiento and Torero family. Stay safe and have a nice day, everyone. Bye!
Yeah!
All
Thank
right.
you po
Good job.
for sending that in, Ate Chanel. Thank you so much. Gusto ko yung keyboard niya. May pailaw-ilaw. Ang ganda. Hindi ako
You
magagalit
like the
pagka
RGB?
Yeah, I like that one. But anyways, Kuya, we
Alright.
do have responses here. Quick read na lang ako on our YouTube comment section. Si Gian, Connie, Romy, Juvelin, Chris Daniel. Kayo ba yung mga sumagot kanina? Kayo ating top 5 for top 6? Oo, kayo. Caroberto, kaya siya. Yan, thank you so much for giving us your answers. Kayo, pati doon sa ating games kanina sa emoticons, you got it right. Thank you so much. Ang cute daw ng emojis natin. And pahabol po pala dun kay Chris kanina from Tandasora. Happy birthday po sa inyo. Thank you for watching Unity Junction Radio on your birthday. Thank you so much. But Sister Era, baka po may greetings kayo. We do have a couple of seconds.
Yes, I would like to greet all my may tungkulin here in lokal ng Lemery Distrito ng Batangas. They are also watching right now. Hello po sa inyo. And also to my family, of course. Good evening po, Mama and Papa. Hello po.
All right. Thank you very much, Sister Erin. I truly believe teamwork helps us win those sound checks. So thank you, Sister Erin, for helping us with that today and just expanding our minds on emotions and what the best way is to deal with them. And thank you to our viewers online watching on INC TV as well and Facebook and YouTube. Now, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to see more and you are inspired by it, please do help us out by liking and hearting those posts, those videos, and sharing it with your family and friends. We want to thank, of course, our CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Iranio V. Manalo, for their support, and also from our dear Executive Minister, Eduardo V. Manalo.
Yun, thank you po ng marami. And of course, we have our plugs now. Malapit na tayo matapos. We have Fit to Serve Sundays, 8 a.m. Exercise, best way to release ang mga negative emotions. But anyways, after that, kain na tayo. Gourmet at Home, Saturdays, 12 noon on INC Production Company's Facebook page and YouTube channel. And Sundays po, 11 a.m. on INC TV. Of course, for our weekdays, we have INC MV by request, Mondays to Fridays, 1 o'clock po yan ng tanghali. And right after that, susundan yan ng INC Playlist app live para po sa inyong mga favorite INC original music. At paglinggo naman, we have Spotlight Season 7, 8 p.m. po yan every Sunday. Tomorrow, ating guest po ay ang B Harmonics. So panoorin niyo po ang kanilang mga performances. And of course, sa mga hindi nakakapanood ng live, pwedeng manood ng replay. Syempre po, saan pa sa INC Production Company Facebook page, INC Production Company Facebook page and YouTube channel po to stay updated po sa ating mga various activities, programs, and concerts, and latest INC music videos. And speaking of INC music videos, we have, for our last INC MV, we have Eyes on the Prize po from Metro Manila South, Sofla, Cadbin 2021. And with that, thank you so much po sa pagsama sa amin tonight on UG Radio. And ingat po palagi. We'll see you next Saturday. Bye-bye! Thank you po, Sister Era.
Thank you, Sister Era.
Thank you so much po.
Now is the time to wake up and be